Bienvenidos. Lo que vamos a hacer es, quisiera primeramente reconocer a la gente que está aquí, al menos los representantes locales, porque una gran parte de lo que queremos hacer esta mañana es dar gracias al liderazgo local por el apoyo que nos han dado para rescatar el cementerio. So, what I'd like to do first of all is just recognize some of the local dignitaries, because a big part of what we're doing today is giving thanks to them for the support that they've given us in rescuing the cemetery. So if we might begin, there's people here from the City Council. There's Mayor Ferguson. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for coming. Also from the City Council, Dimitri Garcia. Dimitri Garcia from the City Council, representing the county.
Ross Fountain, county attorney.
El abogado del county, Rod. Okay. Ponton. También con nosotros representando los otros grupos indígenas o otros tipos indígenas, los humanos, principalmente Roberto Luján, ustedes lo conocen, y también la eminencia, y con su presencia vemos que estamos grandemente bendecidos por la presencia de Enrique Madrid, todos lo conocen, que es de Redford. Una breve anécdota de Enrique. Ya ven que aquí el camino da como que una vuelta. You can tell how the street here makes a jog in the road. It doesn't go all the way through. Well, a big reason for that, if not the main reason for that, is because of Enrique. He through his research and a paper he submitted, which we never found the paper, but as a result of his input, the city decided to take a jog in the road and not cut through the mound here, or at least not cut too much through the mound here, and so we are very grateful to you for that. Also here from the Tapacol people is Shoshi Sotelo. He comes originally from from here, right? From the Sotelos of the ones who had the cantina in Las Vegas. I don't know if you know that place in Las Vegas. So we're glad to have you here. David Keller, representing the Center for Big Bend Studies. David Keller was a big reason, was very, very critical to us winning the historic designation here. Thank you eternally, David, for your support. And doing that, estaba comentando que está también con nosotros David Keller, representante de Sal Ross, el Centro de Estudios de Big Bend. A través de su participación fue que completamos la petición para el reconocimiento de este sitio como un sitio histórico arqueológico. Entonces ya con ustedes, con nosotros también están, nos había presentado anoche, dos representantes del concilio de la tribu, Pedro Flores y Rick Cantú, y Robert Soto, que después va a presidir la ceremonia. Si yo hable, él se va a llevar, se va a liderar el proceso de la ceremonia. And so also with us is Pedro Flores, who is one of the board members or the council members, tribal council members, as well as Rick Cantú, who's also from the tribal council member. Our vice chairman, we're very proud to have here, very important that he be here, who represents the top leadership in the tribe. He will be taking over the ceremony after I finish speaking. But before I turn it over to him, what I'd like to do is ask the mayor to come forward. He has a proclamation to you.
Thank you so much, Oscar. First of all, I don't know if I heard Patricia Runley's name.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. The person who actually made this event possible and made this event as big as it is, a force of nature, Patricia Patricia Runyon Armendariz. I got to meet her here. We were corresponding and talking on the phone. Jose Portillo said if you can get her to be part of this, then you're going to be very thankful. Boy, that was wonderful. Thank you very much for everything that you've done. Yeah, and oh yes, I'm sorry. Terry Bishop and I have been corresponding for years, precisely on this. So he was still the president of the vice chair. Well, up until now, he's been the president of the County Historical Association, and they just supported our petition and have been behind us the entire time. And I'm sure it was a very critical part of the petition process. Thank you for being here. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, so thank you so much, everybody. And if you were left out, our apologies. We are just so happy to be here today. I actually live about 3 blocks down this street, and so I've passed by the cemetery many times. A person who's not here who also has been advocating is Monroe Elms. And he's like, you guys got to do something. And so thank goodness for Trish Runyon and everybody else who has been involved in this. Yesterday we had the chance to sit down with this gentleman and talk about ownership of this burial ground, and the city is going to do everything we possibly can to return this burial ground back to the Lipan. And we're not sure what it's going to take to do that, but we are very much in favor of returning it to its rightful owners. Okay, at this time, I'd like to, if you bear with me, I have a little proclamation I'd like to read regarding today's ceremony. Whereas Lipan Apaches, whose descendants today comprise the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas, have continuously lived in Presidio County and Big Bend region since the 1600s. And whereas that certain section within the city of Presidio has traditionally been known as the Barrio de los Lipanes and was officially enumerated as such in the U.S. 1880 census. And whereas within the Barrio de los Lipanes on the south side of Market Street between Barton and Wilkinson Avenues lies the historical Cementerio del Barrio de los Lipanes, the Lipan burial site. Whereas an archaeological survey conducted by the Center of Big Bend Studies has determined that the cemetery contains at least 45 historical graves. And whereas the Cementerio del Barrio de los Lipanes is a sacred site to the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas, for being the final resting place of Lipan Apaches beginning in the 1700s, when the area around it was a designated settlement for the Lipanes under Viceroy Bernardo del Galvez Establecimientos de Paz policy in the late 1790s. And whereas the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas, with support from the Presidio County Historical Commission and the Center for Big Bend Studies, petitioned for, and in November of 2014, the Texas Historical Commission consented to designate the Cementerio del Barrio de los Lipanes a state archaeological landmark and conferred all protections and considerations afforded such sites by state law. And whereas the Cementerio del Barrio de los Lipanes has been neglected and in need of protection from desecration and encroachment. Number 1, the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas's continued presence in the Big Bend region and its historical connection to the Cementerio del Barrio de los Lipanes in Presidio. And number 2, the special historical and cultural significance of the Barrio de los Lipanes in the history and modern day culture of history. And 3, the need for the effective protection and upkeep of the Cementerio del Barrio de los Lipanes, including the erection of an appropriate fence that encloses all of the graves that have been detected at the site. I, Mayor John Ferguson, proclaim today, the 25th of February 2017, as the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas in the city of Presidio. John Ferguson, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. And Any of the other dignitaries would like to make a statement?
It's wonderful to see all the history of Presidio finally being preserved and exposed to the world, because it has the richest history in North America right here. So, and the ponds are very much a part of that. Glad to see the recognition.
Thank you very much. Statements from someone from the Humanos, Enrique? Roberto Shoshi? No? Trish, could we get you to come forward at least? You're fast. Any words you'd like to say before we turn it over to the sermon?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. This was a community discourse, community effort, and we hope you'll come back soon.
Center?
I could talk endlessly about this, but I think it bears a real significance, not only to the descendants of the Lipan Apaches, but also as a place in the landscape that deserves to play. So I'm really glad to see that it's getting this.
Very good. Mr. Bishop, would you like to say anything else?
No, I'd just like to thank everybody for being here. This is being posted. This is about as good as everybody. It's a pleasure to all y'all come.
Very good. Thank you very much. Well then, without any more statements, unless somebody else in the community would like to say something. In fact, some of us have relatives here. My people, I don't know exactly where they are, but some of you do have relatives here who, and you know where they are, who they are. Two things. If you could just share some of that information with David over there. There's other people who would like to talk to you about that. There was a statement yesterday that there's people who bring flowers here, and apparently they don't know who else brings flowers. But I've heard from several other people who say, I don't know why, but I go there and other people have put down flowers. And but I've heard that from different people. In other words, they don't know the other people who bring flowers. I can tell you too. There's also graves over there just in front of that corner. And apparently the woman who used to live here, rest in peace, she always sort of considered that part from the fence to the street, that corner over there, as not part of her property, because she knew that there were also people buried there as well. And in fact, we found at least four of the graves. They're on that side as well. So I guess at some point we'll be talking about that. Anyway, so if you will share those stories with David here, and so it can all be recorded. All right. Without any further ado, then I will just turn over the rest of the ceremony to our Vice Chairman, Roberto Soto.
I'm sorry, I got a cold coming up here, and so I don't have much of a voice. I'm not known to being the quiet one. One time, somebody said to me that I was going to get booted out of the council, tribal council, and I told them, if you don't like me as the vice chairman, you're not going to like me as a member. Because, as political leaders, we have to sometimes restrain ourselves from saying things that, that I'm going to give you my glasses are filthy. I think it was the gravy that I just I just started wearing glasses because I got double vision. And about 4 years ago, actually, I got really good eyesight. I went to the doctor and I said, I think I need a new prescription. I can't see with his glasses. And he said, let me see those glasses. And he said to me, when was the last time you cleaned them? And I said, we're supposed to clean them? I never had glasses before, but I thank the guys that came, some of the members from the tribes, came from a long ways. The Cabral family, a very prominent family in our tribe, from Clint, Texas, outside of El Paso. Gabriel came all the way from San Angelo. and of course Pablo Boris came all the way from Houston, and of course my guys here. Any other members of the tribe here? So, I'd like to. This was going to be part of the formality this morning, but since I don't have a voice, we're not going to sing it this time. One of the things that always moves me when I'm in places, in situations like this, is that I'm the songwriter in our tribe. I write songs, and songs that reflect what's going on here. And I came here in November for the first time on the way up to the Apache Alliance meeting in San Carlos Reservation. And we stopped here to see this place because I wanted to see it for myself. You know, they say the pictures say 1,000 words, but being there is just speechless. And so I came here and was just really moved walking this ground. Every time I travel to the United States, I make it a habit of trying to find the sacred spots of our people throughout the United States, our Native community. And I visit the places, and I pray there and I sing there. That's the way I sing a song of prayer for the place. So I wrote this song. I'm not going to sing it, but I'm just going to tell you what the words are. It says, Chien de Ibasha. He says, my people rest, my people sleep. And that he the Mestasi de. He says, you were once forgotten. And the Dako Dai no Yista, but now you are found. Doshta Dako Dish Dota Daniska, and you will never be forgotten. It's going to sound better in a song than the words. I like to say that I'm here on behalf of our tribal chairman who was hospitalized 2 days ago. He's been recovering from surgery and something happened. He had to go back to the hospital. He was really looking forward to being here. There's very few people that I gladly will give my life for, and our tribal chairman is one of those men. He has given his life for the people. You know, you hear places like this, and I heard about this place about 3 years ago, and you know, it was a good thing. I mean, it was Lipan Apache. We call it a cemetery. I call it a burial site. Cemeteries. And a lot of people say, well, why did the Lipans have a cemetery by themselves? Well, let me tell you a little history. And I'm not here to condemn any religion, but back in those days, you had Catholic cemeteries, and then if you weren't Catholic, well, you couldn't be buried there. And so we had all these pagans supposedly coming to this area, and they were dying. And of course, they weren't Catholic, so they couldn't be buried in the cemetery, the Catholic cemetery. So more likely, this place was started for that historical reason. There was no other place to bury them, so they're here. Traditionally, they bury them with rocks. You see those pile of rocks. It's a ceremony now, but back then, the rocks were basically to preserve the body. You know, the animals came and dig up the bodies, but the rocks would keep the animals and rodents from coming in and digging them out. So those rocks were piled up all over the place. When I came here in November, I was really moved by the Spirit. And at the condition of this place, you know, I'm not putting blame on anybody, but the desecration of a holy place. The ATVs, the motorcycles have been going through here, the drinking, the bottles, the glass. And it was then that I told our chairman, I've been to this place. I try not to take a more active part in preserving it. But then I found out that my great-great-great-grandfather, Chico Carropa, Magush, another of my great-great-grandfathers, used to camp here. Not permanently, but they come here and they live with the Lipans. And somebody told me it's more likely there's some of your people buried here, some of your family buried.
So all of a sudden, it's not just a historical and a native interest, but a personal interest. I don't know if anybody's buried here. It's my relatives. But my relatives were here. Back in the late 1700s, the early 1800s, they were here. And they made their homes here. This is Barrio. Or Barrio Lipan, right here. And more likely, a lot of us have little roots there because the Lipan people, we're kind of like a community. You know, it's our historian died a few years ago. Right before she died, she said, I got this, I'm working on this family tree for the Lipans. The four founding chiefs of the Lipans were Poca Ropa, Chief Flaco, Pedro de Castro, and Magush. He said, I figured out that the whole tribe is related. And he goes, and I'm working on this to show how everybody is interreacted, related throughout the years. And I said, that's the last thing I want to know, that we're all cousins and marrying each other. Because we're mentally enough as it was, and now it kind of explains it. But she died before she finished that project, and it'd be a project that we'll never know. But my chiefs had to come here and represent him, represent the tribe. Bernardo Barcena is a retired policeman in San Antonio. Sad to say, an accident retired him from the police force. And so again, he really wanted to be here. We came yesterday in a more private setting. Had a ceremony here. I wanted my guys, the guys that came with me, the guys that were here yesterday, to kind of just experience the solitary. And we meet the chickens and the roosters cluck, and the dogs bark, and people are looking at the doors with their cameras. And some curious views. But we blessed this place. We felt, when I came here, I told our chairman, we have to do a cleansing ceremony. Which will say this place will be desecrated no more. If anything, we want to keep working at the preservation. And by the way, you're going to see some of our people come here. 8 weeks ago, 11 or 12 of our people came here and spent a couple of days here just to visit this place. This will be a very important historical place for us. And so it's not just coming here and saying this is ours. This is holy ground, sacred ground. And our people will come here to respect that. And to offer our prayers to God here. And so this is a very special event for us. And I'm just profoundly honored that the city, and humbled that the city will do whatever it takes for us to take ownership. I don't know what that means, take ownership. But regardless of what it means, we will be here on a continual basis to keep preserving this place. So I just want to thank the city of Presidio, a city that I didn't even know existed until 4 months ago. Presidio, but where in the heck is Presidio? Now I know, and now we have a connection to this town. And we advertise, we have about over 4,400 members, and they will know about this place. But not only that, will they know about this place, but the whole native community. We call it Indian telegraph. We don't have to call, we don't have to write. I guarantee you, half the United States today knows this is happening right now among the native community. I also want to thank the other guys. I wish I could remember people's names. All the guys from the other tribes, the native community that are here, giving your support. I'm just honored that you're here to give us this support. You know, somebody once said if we could only be united, this might be a different history. But we didn't, and history turned different. But today we unite in different projects and support each other. If not physically, financially, spiritually, through prayer. And so I just want to thank you all for being here. One of the sacred herbs of our people is the tobacco. I'm very honored to carry this tobacco. This bag. This tobacco was given to you by a bunch of kids. He said, wait a minute, kids smoking? No. This is natural, all natural tobacco with no chemicals. Every year I go to Michigan and spend a 2-week tour dancing and speaking. And I stop at this little Indian program for children. And they were all excited to give me this because they grew this tobacco in their garden back there. And they asked me to take all I wanted. It's very different. Smells very different. I hear that it's not addictive. I don't know. I don't smoke, never have smoked. And that's why it'd be appropriate to use this tobacco to start our blessing here. There's always that east over there. On the east comes the sunshine. It reminds us of new life every morning when we wake up. So we ask His blessing upon us today. To the south is a very powerful direction for us. Because the south winds come from the south. I don't know about here, but in our land back in McAllen, the south winds are a horrible thing to get because you can even keep the roads cars on the road. But we see that as an expression of God, the creator's power. And we ask Him every day to give us that power, being a very frail, needy people. To the west, the sunset will go. And the sunset just reminds us that the day is gone. We can't bring it back. We can't redo what we didn't do or what we did. It's already done. And our native community says, it's time to leave it behind and look forward to the new sunrise the next day and just make it a better day than this day. And to the north is a very interesting direction because the north is the place for God, God the Creator. He looks upon us every day and directs our path. He looks upon us every day and gives us hope. He gives us hope. And today, this is a place of hope. As not only we work with the government, one of the G's, but with God Almighty, the most powerful, the one who creates governments. I didn't go in a circle because I probably would have kept falling. We're going to pretend the drum there is the center. We're going to bless this drum. The drum is you may say our heartbeat. The drum is like the bugle for the military. The rhythm and the beat tells us what song, how to respond, how to react, how to dance, how not to dance, how not to dance at all. But the center of our world, the drum sits on the earth. We have this earth here that God gave us. And we need to take care of this earth. Take care of this. We call it Mother. Ironically, everything in the Bible is feminine. The earth. And so we have the drum, we bless the drum, which is from the earth. But then we bless the sky, where our Creator dwells. So we have a drum in between the earth and the heavens. The sage is represents our cleansing. As I said, this is a baptizing ceremony. I'm not going to walk around the whole place. I'm just going to go around here. I'm going to go around, if you don't mind, but I will spread the smoke as much as on here. I'm going to use this. These are 5 feathers given to me by the chief of the Bella Coola tribe in British Columbia. He honored me with these feathers. Put them together as a fan. But the last few years has been a very good year for our tribe. Last Thursday, a judge signed a lawsuit and it became law. The lawsuit has a 11-year history where the government sent undercover agents into our family gathering, our powwow. And it took away 50 of my eagle feathers that I've had since 1970. These were all recycled feathers. We take care of our feathers. When this happened, I felt that my spirituality had been ripped off my heart. And that I now could not worship God the Creator the way He meant us to be. So after all my charges were dropped, because I was facing 15 years in the federal penitentiary and a $250,000 fine, I felt that I couldn't sit still and just forget what just happened. So I took the government to court on the violation of our religious rights. A lawsuit that nobody's ever won in the history of the United States. I just want to say that after 11 years of being in the court system, we finally won. And today our Indian community can rest more at peace using this feathers without the fear of being violated by the United States government. I'm going to ask you guys to sing a song for me. We call this a journey song. We have a few words, and the song is a blessing. It says, God created, bless us in the journey. Bless us in the journey. And I wanted to sing that song today because I want God to continue to bless us on that journey between us and Presidio. To bless us on this journey together. I think it's a good thing what we're doing here today. And I think God the Creator will honor this. We'll totally honor this. Well, that concludes our part. Once again, I want to thank you all for coming, and you guys came a long way. Thank you for being here in the city, for support, the community for their support, the Native community for their support, and God the Creator for His support. God bless you. Got any questions? We'll be here for a while, and you can walk around, and if you want to, just thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. One of our council members wants to say a word.
I'd like to publicly acknowledge and thank the Center for Big Bend Study for all of their hard work. And we were here 2 years ago at La Junta. Ricky Reyes, myself, and another gentleman with Bill Malay documenting Texas before the Alamo. And so this is the oasis, taking a global perspective of an oasis in Africa. And that's why this is so sacred. And I'd like to acknowledge Cabeza